You look at the Oilers and like, what do they not need? They have McDavid, they have Draisaitl, they don't need more offense. They need to keep the puck out of their net. But you're gonna tell me you're not putting Wayne Gretzky in this roster? You're gonna tell me to my face, you're gonna be like, no, keep him on the bench.
There's no way.
Luca, the playoffs are finally here. It's the best time of the year. It's where legends are born. You've got your Gretzky, your Lemieux, your Crosby, Ovi. All of them have cups. The new generation, we got McDavid, Matthews, all searching for their first cup. I just had the idea, what if you could completely change the history of this year's playoffs by adding one legend onto each team? So you could get a Gretzky McDavid situation. What would that look like?
Gosh, I wish I could play with him. I wish I was still good enough to skate. I would know where to go. I could get 60 goals playing with that guy.
I love the idea. It's one that I think all hockey fans kind of dream of. Who wouldn't want to see Wayne Gretzky play in today's day and age? Not only just play, but play with Connor McDavid. That would be pretty cool. We know it can't happen on the actual ice, but we've got this thing called NHL 21. They got legendary rosters for every single team.
Let's put a couple of rules in place of what actually makes you a legend to a specific franchise.
Especially because the NHL legendary alumni rosters they're a little weird. For anyone that's played NHL 21, you know that there are some names on there that's just like, oh, I remember this guy played there for like a season or two, but I wouldn't really have him on like a legendary team for that franchise. For the purposes of this video, I think we should limit it to like 3 or 4 seasons with that franchise.
Let's ballpark it at 3.
We're gonna analyze the current rosters and just be like, what do each of these teams need and which legend can provide that?
We're basing this on need and trying to make each team better than they are right now with one player. So I say we just get into it and start going.
You want to start in the North?
Yeah, we can start in the North. Are we going by seed? Are we starting with the Toronto Maple Leafs very first?
I mean, it makes me sick, but let's start with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It only makes sense to start with them.
Canada's team.
Go Leafs, go! Yeah! Relax, okay? What I will say is, because you are the Leaf fan, let's give you the floor here and let you pick what legend you want on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay. I love that because it's such a hard decision for the Leafs, right? Because the Leafs' best players that have played in franchise history primarily have been forwards. Doug Gilmour, Wendell Clark, Darryl Sittler, Matt Sundin. Their legends are all forwards. What does this team need least? More forwards. So to me, I think you would have to go defense, but if you look at the players in the game and then you look at the Leafs legendary D, you don't got a lot of options here. So then we look at goalies. Jack Campbell has been phenomenal this season, but there's still some question marks. I think we got to go goalie here. Don't get me wrong, a lot of teams ride a hot goalie to a Stanley Cup win, which the Leafs could do with Jack Campbell. But would you not rather like the sure thing, you know, night in, night out, this guy's going to start just shutting the door?
He's a Leafs legend, like Corwin would say. I don't think you can go wrong. Moving on to the next team in the North, the Edmonton Oilers. This is the easiest one we could ever do. It's Wayne Gretzky.
Obviously, like we just said, what does this team not need for the Leafs and forwards? You look at the Oilers and like, what do they not need? They have McDavid, they have Draisaitl, they don't need more offense. They need to keep the puck out of their net. But you're gonna tell me you're not putting Wayne Gretzky in this roster? You're gonna tell me to my face, you're gonna be like, no, keep him on the bench.
There's no way.
If you add Gretzky to this, like what? Gretzky gets 5 points a game, McDavid gets 5 points a game. You win a game 9-8.
Still won.
McDavid's the first thing in like my lifetime actually understanding how good Gretzky was, because these are numbers that Gretzky put up, like 4 points a night. Like every night you look at the scoreboard and it's Connor McDavid 4 points, Connor McDavid 4 points, Connor McDavid 3 points. It's unreal.
We want to see McDavid and Gretzky play together. That's really why we're doing this. And I think we move on to team number 3, Jesse's Winnipeg Jets.
We are counting the original Winnipeg Jets franchise as the Winnipeg Jets. They're in the same city. Yes. They have the same name. I don't care if they're the Arizona Coyotes. That's stupid. They are the Winnipeg Jets.
100%. And based on the alumni roster, you've got Dale Hawerchuk and you've got Teemu Selanne. I think it's between those two for the Winnipeg Jets. Look, they need scoring. I'm going to go with Teemu Selanne. Greatest goal scorer in franchise history. The gun, Selly with the glove. It's just legendary. It's probably the most iconic Winnipeg Jets moment in franchise history.
It was a great celebration, if you ask me. Now when I see the highlights over and over, you know, I feel like a little ashamed, but that time it was great.
Let's give him another. Maybe a Stanley Cup with Selanne winning it for Winnipeg. That feels pretty right.
For the Jets, you traded away one Finnish elite goal scorer. You just got another. Congrats.
The North Division has been pretty easy aside from the Leafs. I think it gets easy with Montreal too.
So the crazy thing with Montreal is it's kind of like you're in such a good situation that makes it kind of hard. Ooh, I have to pick an elite goal scorer. My life is so hard. And you've got so many. Do you take Richard, Jean Beliveau, Guy Lafleur. Like, it's kind of pick your poison, and any of the three are like a great addition. So you're getting an elite forward regardless. To me, the guy's got a trophy named after him. You want to put the biscuit in the basket, you get Maurice Richard.
That's someone that the Montreal Canadiens could definitely use. Tyler Toffoli's been incredible. Outside of him, it's really tough sledding for this team. Jeff Petrie has 12 goals, which is a nice surprise from the blue line, but it'd sure be nice to have Maurice Richard up front, being able to rely on him every game to pot a couple. Let's move on to the Central Division, and we'll start at the top with the Carolina Hurricanes. Look, this is a team that's made it close in recent cup runs.
If you're the Hurricanes too, like, you got a great team this year. Adding someone, even if they're not like the best legend in NHL history, like, it's still a great addition to an already great team. My personal pick is he's already on your roster. You just take him and his massive biceps from behind the bench and stick him on the ice. Let's go with Rod the Bod.
Woo, that's a great pick. He was the captain last time they won a Stanley Cup, the only time they've won it in Carolina Hurricanes history. He's trying to lead them there as the coach, but in NHL 21, dude, he looks like he's in game shape right now. Like, he could actually play, and it would make sense out of all these legends that we're gonna take.
I'd probably put in an hour and a half a day for the minimum. Spend a lot of time watching and catching up on NHL.
He could do it for sure.
Yeah, why not? Just scratch someone on the Hurricanes and be like, I'm in. Take a seat.
All right, second place in the division, Florida Panthers. It's the battle of the state with Tampa Bay, and they have home ice. This legend roster's, it's a little bleak. It's a little bleak. NHL 21 did them dirty. There are a couple ways you can go. Like, you can go Olli Jokinen if you want, or you can go on defense. Aaron Ekblad out for the season. I think you get a guy to replace him in Brian Campbell. He was an offensive defenseman during his time in the NHL.
You had some tough years, guys. I'm sorry. I think Brian Campbell's your best option here.
Especially considering, again, the criteria for this going in is some of these players that you'll see on a lot of these rosters and be like, why aren't you picking them? Like, these guys are Hall of Famers. Some of them only played for these teams for like a season or two. Panthers get Brian Campbell, and we move on to the other half of that matchup, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Which this is unfair. This is not fair.
Really isn't. Like, they got Kucherov back.
I hate that we get to give the Tampa Bay Lightning another all-star caliber player. It's ludicrous.
Out of all of the players that we're going to pick, it's one that has actually played with a lot of the players on their current team. Like, St. Louis was there when Stamkos was there. He won an Art Ross when Stamkos was there during his time in Tampa.
I first met Marty as an 18-year-old kid coming in this league, and I'm not going to lie, it was a little intimidating. You know, I knew as soon as I met you that you were going to be someone that I looked up to for the rest of my career. Maybe not in a literal sense, but you know what I mean.
He mentored a lot of these guys, and that's my pick. I think he provides leadership. Just always marveled at how good he was at his size for so many years. I think the choice is obvious.
I think you're right. I think you hit the nail right on the head.
Him and his sick yellow Easton stick.
Money.
Tampa's going to be tough to stop. You know a team that's not going to be tough to stop with whichever legend we give them? The Nashville Predators. Do you want to talk about a legendary roster that is really tough to choose from? Just look at some of these Nashville Predators selections. Like Olli Jokinen. Nope, that's not one. Peter Forsberg. I wish he played there longer because he'd be the obvious choice. Who are you going with, Eric?
We fast forward 10, 15 years. You would get a pretty solid player here. Like, you'd get a Shea Weber. But you're definitely winning here more in the visual looks, because let me tell you, Mike Fisher is a beautiful man.
I like Mike Fisher, especially because he galvanized that city when he was in Nashville during that Stanley Cup run that they ultimately came up short against the Penguins.
What more can you ask?
That wraps up the Central. Let's move on to the East. And at the top of the East, we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins. We said Gretzky was the easiest choice. This is probably the second easiest choice, right?
Yeah, like, it's obviously Matt Cook.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I don't think it's Matt Cook, but it's another M. It's Mario Lemieux. I forgot that Mario Lemieux played with Sidney Crosby before the end of his career.
We're doing the what if McDavid and Gretzky played together, which is like the 1A to the Crosby-Lemieux 1B. Like, we saw them play together.
At center, wearing number 87, Sidney Crosby. And now the captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome back once again, number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Super Mario with Crosby in his prime now and Malkin. Oh my God, good luck. There are some really good teams, and one of those teams is the Washington Capitals, rivals of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They won't have to face them in the first round. They've got a really good team too. I mean, not much has changed as far as this team from the team that won a Stanley Cup a few years ago. Who do we give them?
To me, like, this is such a tough choice. We've said before, with all this offensive firepower, like, are you going to add another offensive player to a team with, in my opinion, the greatest goal scorer of all time? I don't think you do. You look at the back end. Do they need some help? Yes. You look at the goaltending. Does it need some help? Yeah. It's kind of between goalie and defenseman for me, but I think it's hard to ignore being able to add a player like Larry Murphy, won 4 Stanley Cups, Hockey Hall of Famer. None of the cups were with Washington, but maybe we can change that, put him on the blue line, get Ovi another cup.
Can't argue with that when you have a guy like John Carlson as well on the blue line that puts up monster numbers. Just give this team another weapon. I don't think that's a bad thing, especially in the playoffs. They may need to score goals if their goaltending duo that is young and inexperienced doesn't really hold its weight.
Yeah, you're looking at like a power play unit of what? Ovi, Larry Murphy, John Carlson, Nick Backstrom, and TJ Oshie.
That's pretty damn good.
Who do you cover? Yeah, have fun.
It's not going to be fun for the Boston Bruins, who are going to be facing the Washington Capitals in the first round. Boston Bruins have some legends, okay? Like, this was one of those franchises because, again, original 6 franchise. But I feel like this choice was probably easier than the other original 6 franchises, whether it be the Leafs or the Montreal Canadiens.
I think you take Ray Bourque. I think that's the obvious choice.
Honestly, the Bruins need it. They need a defenseman. Chara left in the offseason. What's better than replacing a legendary Bruins defenseman with another legendary Bruins defenseman that is one of the greatest of all time? We got the New York Islanders as the 4th and final team in the East Division. Whew, this team has really surpassed expectations, and as you would think, a lot of the legends on this roster are from their time in the 80s when they were winning Stanley Cups back to back to back to back. There are a few names that stand out above the others though, and I feel like there's one in particular that does.
It comes down to 2 for me. Do you take the almost point per game defenseman in Dennis Potvin, or do you take the over point per game forward in Brian Trottier? What does this team need more? I think they need defense more, but it's so hard to not take Brian Trottier.
See, I tend to disagree. I think they need more scoring.
Barry Trotz does have them playing at a fairly sound defensive-minded scheme that I think you can just plug in Brian Trottier.
This honestly might have been the toughest choice of anyone because you could also go in net. Billy Smith is there. He's also a Hall of Famer. He's also a legend of those Islanders teams. I wouldn't say no to the forward, the defenseman, or the goalie.
Yeah.
Either one of those players will help. I think Trottier gives them the biggest impact player of the 3. And that brings us to our final division, the West Division, the Colorado Avalanche. This is a tough choice, man. These are all guys I watched growing up. These are all guys I fell in love with, and at the top of the list is Joe Sakic, but you have Alex Tanguay, Peter Forsberg, Rob Blake. It really comes down to 2 guys for me. It comes down to Sakic, and it comes down to Patrick Waugh. The way Grubauer is playing, I trust him in net, but I don't know how I pass up arguably the greatest goaltender of all time. Patrick Waugh can steal you a Stanley Cup, and this team in front of him is the best Avs team since those early 2000s and mid-90s teams when Waugh was winning Stanley Cups. So I'm going to go with the greatest goaltender of all time, in my opinion, Patrick Waugh.
I agree with you completely on this choice. I feel like we had very similar choices here. Do you take the sure thing, who you know is going to be great, or do you add a legendary forward? And I think we both ended up making the exact same call.
There's a big part of me that feels like I'm betraying my favorite player of all time, but he's the GM. You know what? He would tell me to make the tough decisions because he does that for a living nowadays, and he's brought this Avalanche roster to where it is. So, Joe, I'm going with Patrick Waugh. Let's win a Stanley Cup, baby. Let's go.
If we're talking about Stanley Cup favorites, to me, like, I don't know, man. You add Patrick Waugh to that team, Avs are dangerous.
Vegas is also a pretty complete team, but the problem with Vegas, they don't have a lot of legends, man. They don't have any. They don't have an alumni roster in the game because they've been around for 3 seasons. So, we're making them play straight up. Let's move on to the Minnesota Wild. This is one of those teams that, when we look at their legends, there are not many.
Credit to the Wild this season, man. Like, every year you look at the Wild and you're just like, this team is the definition of mediocrity. They're not great, they're not bad, they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to lose in the first round. Kaprizov is unbelievable. He changes the game completely when he's on the ice. Why don't you add the same thing we've done for the Leafs? add the goaltender that you know will be good, will be solid. You add Dwayne Rolison to this team.
That's a solid pick. Dwayne Rolison was really good, led the Oilers to the Cup final against the Carolina Hurricanes. Had a really good career. I think he'd provide some consistency, stability, experience. The Wild don't have those things right now between the pipes. I like that pick, Eric.
It's the best option in a pool that is not that deep.
Final team, the St. Louis Blues, Stanley Cup champions from a couple years ago. They've got some solid players on this roster. There's one name that stands out above the rest, though. It's Brett Hull. He's one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, on the cover of NHL video games in the past.
Yeah, I think he's the obvious choice. I think you got to go Brett Hull. Obviously, Keith Tkachuk's a great option, too. We already told you you're not getting Wayne Gretzky, so wear it.
Chris Pronger and Al MacInnis are two Hall of Fame defensemen. Crazy to think they both played in St. Louis. I wouldn't say no to either one of them,
no.
Especially Chris Pronger. It's a tough choice, but Brett Hull, 741 goals in just over 1,200 NHL games. Like, that's incredible. That's who it is, and we've run through every team. We've given them a legend. All that's left to do is do the sim and react to it, but before we do that, it's prediction time. Who do you got? Who's winning it all?
My guess in this sim is the Avs are going to win this cup. In the sim. In real life, we're partying like it's 1967. We're manifesting it. Shout out Marissa Roberto.
I'm going Avs too. I'm not a coward. I'm not going to go against my team.
All right, we're back. Playoff bracket. It's set up. We're ready to go. Me and Luke are here to see how adding the legends to the game actually sims.
So the playoff format for NHL 21, we are trying to make it as similar to real life as possible. As you can see, we have the bracket the way it looks normally, but there's a reseed in the conference final this year. There's not going to be that in this bracket. It's going to be as true as possible to a real thing. Eric, you ready to start?
I could not be more ready. I can't wait to meet the Avs in the conference finals and just slap them.
It's going to be crazy. We start with game one, Avs, Blues, 1-0 Blues, 2-1 Blues through 2, and the Blues win 4-2.
Wow. Okay.
All right, Leafs, Habs, game one. You ready?
I couldn't be more ready.
All right. 2-1 Montreal after 1. Maurice Richard beats Johnny Bauer.
No.
2-1 after 2. 3-3. We're going to OT. Double overtime.
No.
Leafs win. Miss Marner beats Carey Price.
Let's go.
Game 2, Avs Blues. Here we go. Patrick Waugh needs a bounce back performance here. All right, 2-0 Avs. 2-1, Marco Scandella. Avs win 3-2. Nathan MacKinnon gets the winner.
How do you feel about this series, though? Like, that was a grimy win.
It was a grimy win. I'm super nervous about it. I'm not going to feel good about this series until it's over. We move on to game 2 of Leafs Habs. 2-1 Leafs after 1, Matthews and Kerfoot. 3-1, Nick Foligno beats Carey Price. Riley Nash, 4-1.
Wow.
2-0. Light work for Johnny Bauer.
Oh my God. The boys are buzzing. The boys are just coming through.
Here we go. Game 3, Avs and St. Louis Blues on the road in St. Louis. 2-0 Avs.
Wow.
After 2. Is Patrick Waugh getting the playoff shutty? Yeah, he is. 3-0.
Shuts the door. See, that's
now.
what you needed. Like, that's right there is why you added him.
That's absolutely why we added him. 3-0 win. The Leafs are the only team other than Vegas with a 2-0 series lead through this sim. Can they make
the two best teams in the playoffs this year?
Can they make it 3-0 on the Canadiens in Montreal? 1-0, Gallagher, but the Leafs score 3 in the second. Matthews, Hyman, Muzzin.
Oh, Matthews, baby.
A back-to-back 4-1 wins, and they're up 3-0 in the series, 1 win away.
Do you smell that?
No, what am I supposed to be smelling?
I smell dust. Someone might come out and sweep it.
Oh my gosh. Relax.
Oh.
Relax. We go to game 4, Avs Blues. Here we go. 1-0 Avs, Tyson Jost. 1-1, Ryan O'Reilly. We're going to OT.
Oh my God.
Who you got in OT? I'm going Nathan MacKinnon.
Cale Makar.
Double OT. Landeskog, baby. We're up 3-1.
Landeskog?
Woo! Landeskog in OT.
Oh.
Patrick Waugh, look at him. 2 straight games of just dominant play. It's what we needed. All right.
Game 4. Leafs. Get the brooms. Everyone go get your brooms.
1-1. Kerfoot and Armia. No goals in the second. 2-1. Montreal wins.
No!
Black, the winner. They stick around.
Oh my God. What?
How you feeling?
I feel like at that point you just wanted to win on your home ice. Like you just let them have game 4 just so you could go back to Scotiabank and win there, right? Because like the fans haven't seen a round 1 win in so long. Why would you want to do it in Montreal?
This guy absolutely jinxed the Leafs. Here we go. Game 5, Colorado a chance to move on to the second round with a win. Blues lead 1-0 through 2. They win 2-0. Wow, we're going to a Game 6 in St. Louis. I'm feeling a little nervous, to be honest.
I'm cool, calm, and collected about this Game 5. It's in the bag.
Wow. Okay. 1-1 after 1. Maurice Richard gets his second of the series.
His last of the series.
3-3 going into overtime. Caulfield and Edmondson score. Matthews got the game-tying goal. Double OT. Montreal wins.
No!
Ben Sherratt, Game 6 coming up in Montreal.
Oh my God, boys, what are you doing?
Not how we expected this sim to go. Super Mario is eliminated. The first team to be eliminated, first teams I should say, are the Nashville Predators, Mike Fisher, gone, and Mario Lemieux and the Penguins, gone. Game 6 in St. Louis. I'm predicting a Colorado win. We're not letting it get farther.
I think you might be going to 7, buddy.
I think you're right. Brett Hull scored his first of the series. It's 3-1 Blues, and the Blues win 7-1.
Oh, what a statement win!
Game 7 coming up in Colorado.
Oh my God. If the Leafs
Montreal
blow a 3-0 lead, this game could not be more accurate to real life.
Well, Wayne Simmons scores, but Montreal's up 2-1 after 2. And Montreal wins 5-3. We're going to Game 7 in Toronto.
This game is so realistic when it comes to the Leafs, clearly.
Every other series is over other than the Leafs and the Avs series. Vegas moving on. Washington moving on. Tampa Bay moving on. And Winnipeg upsetting Wayne Gretzky in the first round.
Wayne and Super Mario out first round. That's the most insane thing ever.
We simulate further here. Game 7. McKinnon's up 1-0. It's just him. Oh, Blues are up 3-1. Brett Hull scored again. Oh no. 3-2. Burakovsky. 4-2. No. Tarasenko.
What an early exit. No. Man, I am so sorry.
4-3 with a minute left. Oh, and they lose 4-3. Our prediction of the Avs making it to the Stanley Cup final is done. They lost.
It's in the gutter. They lost the first round exit. We had all this talk about like Pittsburgh being unreal, Edmonton being great, Colorado doing great. All first round exits. Unbelievable.
The Leafs and Montreal, Game 7. After 1, it's 2-2. After 2, 3-2 Montreal.
Oh my God.
And I'll sim minute by minute of the third. And with 6 minutes to go, it is still 3-2 Montreal. Montreal wins! Montreal wins!
No!
Montreal advances. Both of our teams eliminated in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs in Game 7.
This is it. This is the entire feeling of being a Leafs fan. They get a 3-0 lead and still blow it. I don't care if it's virtual. This has been years in the making. This is what our life is like as Leafs fans. You just put them up on this pedestal that they earn a 3-0 lead just to slap you in the face and be like, hey, guess what? Maybe next year. Keep saying it, because it's never happening. It's always next year. What was that?
This is all with legends playing on their team too. This is with Johnny Bower in net. Housekeeping to do before we end here. Let's look at how each legend performed for each team. Patrick Waugh, 3 wins, 4 losses, a .923 save percentage, and a .251 goals against. It was really those last 2 games that he struggled.
That's not even like, those aren't bad numbers too.
Okay, this might be the shocker of them all. Wayne Gretzky and the Oilers. Alex Chason and James Neal lead the team with 6 points each. Wayne Gretzky, 3 points in 6 games.
It's because the goalies can bend their knees now.
You better be careful about what the words that's about to come out of your mouth. Don't be disrespectful. You better be careful.
It might be. It might be. Goaltenders are actually good. That is the shocker of the entire sim right there. We get to the Montreal Canadiens who advance. And Maurice Richard tied for second on the team in points with 5 behind Tyler Toffoli, who has 6 points.
How many Genos though for... How many Genos for the Rocket?
Just 2. Islanders. This one's a big one. Brian Trottier leads the team in scoring in both goals and the points department. 4 goals, 7 points in 5 games. We made the right selection. Not to be outdone though, Mario Lemieux led the Penguins with 6 points in 5 games. They don't advance. Brett Hull, 6 points for the Blues. Johnny Bower's numbers coming up here. 3-3-1, 922 save percentage, 234 goals against average. Eric, like you said, those aren't bad numbers, man.
I don't get it with this team. Like, I will never get it. It's the same thing every year. We're just cursed.
And for the Winnipeg Jets, Teemu Selanne, 6 points. Let's make some different predictions now. I'm honestly going to predict an Islanders-Winnipeg Jets final here.
I think it's going to be a Lightning Golden Knights final.
Wow. The St. Louis Blues have swept the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay, apparently I'm not allowed to pick predictions anymore because my last two have been dog water.
Both teams you picked are out. Blues win 4-0. Capitals are going to the conference final. Montreal going to the conference finals.
Oh my God.
And Tampa Bay as well. Holy. So
you're telling me if the Leafs didn't absolutely choke, we would be exactly where I predicted them to be.
Potentially. It's a Montreal-St. Louis Western Conference final and an Eastern Conference final of Washington-Tampa Bay.
I'm disgusted. I'm going to puke, Luca.
Montreal is getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different players. Maurice Richard, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points, but Gallagher, Toffoli, Drouin, Eric Staal all have more. The Islanders bow out with Trottier being the most impactful legend. 11 points. The Blues. Brett Hall leading the way. 9 points in 11 games. Only 2 goals, though.
The fact that the legends added to the teams that our teams were playing performed so well sucks so much. It sucks.
Okay, who's coming out of these series, Eric? I'm going Montreal and Tampa Bay.
Oh, man. I think it's going to be St. Louis, Tampa Bay, all blue final. But that just means Montreal is going to... I can't pick Montreal. I can't bring myself to do it. No.
St. Louis up 2-0, up 4-1. Wow, Montreal scores 3 in the third to tie it at 4, and they win 5-4 in overtime.
Montreal is cracked this playoffs. Like, you add one guy who can put the biscuit in the basket, and they're the best team to ever live.
Tampa Bay looking to advance to the Stanley Cup final for back-to-back years, tied 2-2. They win 5-2, 3 goals in the third. Tampa is off to the Stanley Cup final for the first time since last year. Montreal, 1 win away. Can they do it? 2-2 after 1. Maurice Richard finds the back of the net. They win 5-3.
We were 1 game away from beating this team.
Montreal, Tampa Bay, Stanley Cup final. Oh my goodness. Who would have seen this coming?
But, like, actually, like, name a Leafs fan's bigger nightmare. Being up on the Canadiens 3-0 in a series, losing 4-3, and then watching them go to the Cup final.
This has been a tough sim for them. You know what, though? Montreal fans, I think you're going to like your legend. 16 points for Maurice Richard. Tampa Bay, Martin St. Louis, 13 points.
If the Habs win, I will be fuming. Go Lightning.
The sim has started. First period, Lightning up 3-1, and St. Louis making an impact.
Beautiful.
Romanov cuts it to 3-2. But the Lightning win 6-2. They get 3 more goals in the third. All right, game 2. 3-0 Montreal. Richard with 2 goals.
Oh my.
5-0.
I can't stand
it. 8-0 Montreal win. That is dominant.
What?
That is dominant.
What?
2-1 in game 3 for Tampa Bay. After 1, Maurice Richard ties it at 2. This guy's a Stanley Cup final player. But guess what? Kucherov. 3-2 Tampa Bay Lightning win.
Kucherov's feeling dangerous.
Game 4, Lightning up 1-0. Stamkos up 1-0 through 2. And they win 3-0. Gaudreau and Point.
Lightning 1 game away from being Stanley Cup champions.
Back to back. We're going to have... No, 1-0. Kucherov.
He can't be contained.
Gets a goal. He cannot be contained. We're still 1-0. 1-1. Cole Caulfield.
Oh,
the youngster.
That guy's only allowed to score in overtime.
We're heading to double OT. 2-1 Montreal, early into second OT, Jonathan Drouin.
What am I doing? Jonathan Drouin. Oh!
Montreal stays alive. We're heading to game 6.
You can't put these guys away. Like, you can't finish Montreal. You can put them on the ropes, but that's as far as they'll go.
Not yet. 1-1. Martin St. Louis, the legend.
Wow, he said, don't forget about me.
There's 2 legends in this series. Jonathan Drouin scores again. Another big goal for Montreal to put them up 2-1. Wow. 3-1. Cole Caulfield. Back-to-back games. 4-1. Drouin again. Oh, my goodness. I think we're going to Game 7.
I can't stand this.
We're going to Game 7. Predictions. Give me your prediction. I'm going Montreal wins 4-2 final.
Every prediction I've had has been wrong so far. I'm picking Montreal to win the Stanley Cup.
Here we go. Stanley Cup final. A mini power play, can't score. And Josh Anderson gives the Montreal Canadiens a 1-0 lead.
Oh my God.
2-0. Romanov. Oh my goodness. Are the Montreal Canadiens about to win the Stanley Cup?
No.
3-0. Tyler Toffoli and Drouin. 4-0. Caulfield 5-0. They just scored 3 goals in the span of a minute and a half.
What is going on?
The Montreal Canadiens are your NHL 21 Legend Sim Stanley Cup champions.
We had a 3-0 lead. 3-0.
The Legends played well too. St. Louis with 17 points in 24 games, and the best Legend was obviously Maurice Richard. We all saw that coming, right? 21 points in 26 games. That is it for the sim. The Montreal Canadiens are on top of the world in this sim.
At the end of the day, congratulations, Habs fans. I want to vomit, and I hope that we sweep real life because that was painful.